All right, it says we're live. We're gonna double check that, make sure that's truly the case. Let's see here. What's happening, everybody? Not sure I'm live yet, but we're gonna make sure I am. Cool, officially live. Rock and roll. What is happening, friends? Entrepreneurs, aspiring nomads. Happy Thursday evening. Hope you guys are having a fabulous October so far. Already, halfway through, pretty much exactly. And we're just going to be bringing you guys some fun stuff the rest of the month here. But first and foremost, guys, tonight I'm actually going to bring on one of my good buddies to actually share his story. It's an incredible story of a guy that I met several years ago who's really just gone after one thing that he's always wanted to do and actually accomplished that this year. And so, all right, I'm seeing comments come in here. All right, says we are live. So thank you guys for that. As you guys are jumping on here, do me a favor and just tell me what like city, state, country, whatever you guys are tuning in from. Always love to see where people are coming from, whether you're on Facebook, you're watching this on YouTube. We just love to kind of see people as they're coming in. And yeah, we'll be kicking things off here very, very shortly. We'll give it a couple more minutes for people to jump on here. And then we're going to jump right into this interview. So once again, I'm very excited about this. This is my good buddy, Donald, Bunny. He's not my bunny. He's my buddy, Donald Cooper. And so we're going to actually just kind of dive into his life, his story, and really what drives him. As you guys know, I love having individuals on who really have a dream, a goal, a vision in life, and are actually going after it and going for it, because I think there are so many people out there that have this burning desire, something that they want to do, something they want to accomplish. But for some reason, they hold themselves back, right? Whether it's their confidence, whether it's their situation, whether it's finances, you name it. They're just held back from actually following through. And I do believe, as you guys know, being a believer, we're created in God's image. And so I think that we are happiest when we're creating things, right? We were created to create. And so with that being said, I'm having on all sorts of different creators who are sharing their journeys. And so we're going to have another one of those here tonight. So, all right, we got John chiming in from Kansas City. Welcome. All right, there he is, Donnie himself, originally from Topeka, Kansas. All right, I hope we get to hear a little bit more about that tonight, bro. But he's in the waiting room right now, guys. So I'm going to go and kick things off here, as it always is, week after week is. I like to just honestly have good conversations with good people, really just kind of dive in, understand them more, understand what makes them tick, why they do what they do, and how they got to where they are. And you guys are essentially just listening to two buddies chatting. You guys are kind of a fly on the wall, being able to listen into an awesome conversation that not everybody gets an opportunity to hear. And in doing so, we're going to, just kind of dive into that. If you guys have questions, though, I do want it to be open to questions. So, you guys can drop questions throughout the interview. We'll get to those at the end. But really, if you guys are tuning in, we love interaction. We love to know who's on. It looks like we've got about 20 people live so far. So come on out, get hit it with a like, heart it, drop us some comments, and we'll get this thing bumped through the algorithm. So, all right, we got Martha on, also Topeka. That's got to be Donnie's mom. Awesome. Welcome. Great to meet you, Martha. Jesse Harris, all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. And once again, as you guys are jumping on here, the counter's going up left and right. So as you guys are jumping on, let us know where you're tuning in from. And we'll have some other questions for you, the audience, as we go along here tonight. But without stretching this out any further, I want to bring on Donald Cooper. Once again, incredible guy, incredible story, and you guys get to hear that tonight. So if you guys would help me bring up Mr. Donald Cooper. Boom,
hey,
there he is.
What's going on?
All right. Absolutely, loud and clear, bro.
Awesome, love to hear it, man. Well, I really appreciate the introduction, and I just very excited to be here tonight because, like you said, we met many years ago, and I've always been looking up to you and what you've done in the business realm, not just here in Kansas City, but kind of all around the country sometimes, and with what you do. And but yeah, I really appreciate you bringing me on here.
Absolutely, bro. This could be fun. We're just gonna kind of dive in. I know you and I have had some awesome conversations in the past, whether it's been here in Kansas City or on the beaches of Mexico. Yeah. But I love to hear, what you're thinking, what's going through your head, the visions and ambitions that you have. And I obviously knew that this book was coming out, but when it launched, bro, it's just like, that stuff impacts me so much, because there's a lot of people who will talk about what they're going to do, but there's very few people who follow through, right? Who actually do it.
Right.
And so it blows my mind, right? I'd love to write a book one day, probably more on the nonfiction side of things, but just because how my brain works, I'm way left brain. But at the same time, it's like, man, how does somebody find the time to do this? And so that's a question I'm going to dive into here a little bit too. It's just how you were able to, with work and friends and everything else going on, how did you get into that? So we'll get to that here shortly. All right, we got Bryce tuning in, Jacob, what's going on? Thank you guys for jumping on with us here. Once again, you guys are watching this, give us a like, give us a heart. That way it kind of bumps through the Facebook algorithm, and we can get this message out to more people. So cool, bro. Well, first off, Donald, I've said a little bit about you, but I would love for you to kind of share a little bit of your background, where you come from. So if you kind of just tell us a little bit about you, that'd be great, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of like you alluded to earlier, I was born and raised in Topeka, Kansas, the capital city.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I kind of always have had a passion for storytelling and just like movies, whether it be movies, books, shows. Grew up, my parents just really inflicted that in me at a young age. And I started dreaming at a young age. I think I was 12 or 13 years old. I forget, I was in 8th grade. I always wanted to create something. What that was, I don't know, but I do remember vividly. I was like 12 years old. I would go into my parents' their den, and I just started writing. And but then high school turned around, and kind of got involved with high school and doing high school things, and then college came and did college things, and so it kind of got put on the back burner. But yeah, I went to the University of Kansas. That's where I kind of really also developed the entrepreneurial spirit and mindset. I surrounded myself with people that just kind of thought bigger. And I kind of started learning at a young age, at 19, 20, 21, that I wanted to consistently surround myself with people that, thought bigger than me. And because I know that's always going to help me grow. And so kind of shortly after college, I got involved in a direct selling company, network marketing, multi-level marketing, which
absolutely.
Which in my opinion, I would also say to anyone, if you've never tried any company, I think everyone should try a company. What company that is, it's totally up to you. Most of them, not all of them, have phenomenal products and services, but most importantly is the personal development that comes along with it. Totally. And the people that you meet and the people that you surround yourself with, because I feel like this launch, this book, this creation would not have happened if it was not for honestly that network marketing company. So
that's good.
Shortly after that, I wanted to step away. I did that for about 5 to 6 years, the network marketing company, and I was like, I want to do what's next, because I feel like that's what I see people like you, even you're always doing something new. I was like, what a time to go back to my childhood dream and revisit that and start writing. And so, it was late December of 2018 where literally I was just like, you know what, this is the moment. It just kind of hit me. I was like, I want to know what's next, and I didn't know what to do. And so I was like, I'm going to revisit this. I started writing, and for about 6 months straight, and I would just take a couple hours every day. I was very structured. I was very disciplined, organized. Again, those were all things I really just kind of learned with the network marketing company, even my parents, and just the way I was brought up, and just very disciplined. And I carved out those hours, and then about 6 months, I completed my initial draft. I'll never forget, it was June 13th of 2019, which was, I think, shortly after we got back from Mexico. So I remember telling you, I'm doing this and
make it happen.
And then, the next step was finding an editor. I actually got linked up with a lady named Fiona in Cyprus. So that was a nice, fun relationship that we had. And then one of my best buddy named Ryan Weber, a really good friend of mine, he created the cover art. He's a graphic designer. And the rest, we just launched here on my birthday, September 8th, on my 30th birthday.
Insane, bro. That's awesome. And what an awesome launch right for your
Yes.
big day, enter into the next decade, the next chapter, and, officially put something that you've been spending so much time, so much creative energy, and just pushing that out into the world, man. I just feel like that's just the ultimate setup, right? That's just the first domino of many more to fall. And that's a big one, that's a big one to push over. So congrats to you, bro.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So kind of going back to, your story a little bit there, I'd love to know, you said you were always interested in stories, as a kid and whatnot. Was there anything in particular that like sparked that for you?
If we're going way back, I mean, honestly, I think even my favorite cartoon was like Scooby-Doo, a mystery.
Absolutely, bro.
Little things like that. And I think, just as I progressed and got older, I found such joy in watching the art of storytelling, the art of filmmaking, because and acting and everything that goes into it. But what I kind of realized was there would never be a show or a movie or a book if it wasn't for the writer. So it really came all to the imagination. And I think I was even even as a young kid, even to this day, some of my biggest inspirations and creators are like Dr. Seuss and Walt Disney. Like what just incredible imaginations that they have. And
absolutely,
I kind of became fascinated with that mindset,
mm-hmm.
how you're able to conceptualize what they did.
Totally, an entirely different world, straight from your creative imagination.
Yeah, and I just thought that was so unique, and I knew I was like somehow, some way, I always wanted to be a part of that world.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how I was gonna get there, but again, none of that would happen if it didn't come to putting from the pen to the paper.
Yeah.
It starts here, but then it goes to the pen to the paper, and then you kind of do everything else. But yeah, that's where I was just like, I just wanted to be a part of that somehow, some way, and then as I got older, I think for me too, I love just the other really big imaginations of like Christopher Nolan. He does movies like Inception or Memento. Those are some of my top couple movies of all time. And I just think that that kind of brain has always been cool for me to see and translate onto paper.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Stuff, man. I love that. So to kind of fast forward from when you first became interested in stories, and then you said it was December 2018, right?
Right.
That you really just kind of made that decision. Do you remember, you say you remember the moment. Do you remember kind of what the thought process was that was behind that really was just like, I'm going to do this, and you just kind of, where you just made that decision?
Yeah. So really, So I think it was summer of 2018 is when I really kind of started to step away from the direct sales company, network marketing company. And obviously when, you're an entrepreneur, sometimes you take on different roles. And I went into the corporate world for about 4 or 5 months. And that I was there for a reason for 4 or 5 months. I was like, I gotta get out, and I wanted to do something else. It just wasn't the right fit. And I think, I'd say I remember I got out of that job around early December, and, just Christmas coming around, the New Year's. And I was just like, I don't know. I just started to reflect, and I was like, there is no better time, because I really did not know what was next. I knew this was going to take time, but what I wanted to do was I'm going to continue working on whatever other, finding a job or creating another business, whatever it was. But at the same time, I wanted to make sure I spent some time working on this, because like you kind of said in the beginning, there's so many people that, we say we always want to do this, whatever that might be, but we just let it go to the wayside. We always break up excuses. Life gets in the way. And that's one of my biggest fears, is I never wanted that to be my life. I did not want to be 50, 60, 70 and say I didn't write because life got in the way or something like that. So I just kind of reflected and made a decision. It was just after that I left that job, and I just started writing. I think that's just kind of I think that's the writer's mindset, is just start writing, and that's just kind of what I did, and developing the characters and whatnot. So
I love it, man. Which we'll get into the book and character development and all that kind of stuff here shortly. But I'm just always curious, I think it depends on the person, but you as a writer, are you a put it down on, pencil and paper, or are you a typer?
I'm a typer.
Okay. Epic, man.
Yeah.
Love that. I definitely don't write, I journal and things like that, which obviously journaling is more so done in a book anyway, written. But I was always curious, like for people who are writing books, do people just like to completely disconnect from technology and just go off into the forest and write a book? Or can people actually stay focused long enough, which clearly you can, to just sit there on your computer and just start hammering it out?
Well, yeah, that's great you bring that up, because I feel like I'm kind of a mixture of both. And what I find so unique and what I'm so happy about with this book is it's based off of two of my favorite vacations. And so whenever I travel, I've had the good fortune that I travel to, I don't know, like 12, 14 countries, something like that. And
Awesome.
obviously there's a lot more on the bucket list, but whenever I'm traveling, I always just kind of like soak in things, and I do kind of journal, and I just kind of start to get my imagination starts to flow. And back in 2012, I went to Portugal, Lisbon, Portugal, which is a part of the setting of this book. And I don't know, that place just always stuck with me. And I knew then that I wanted to make a story about that. So this story really has been, you could say, like 18 years in the making. I really believe that. Like, say I started writing when I was 12. Obviously a lot of things changed, but even in 2012, which was 8 years ago, I knew when I was in Portugal that I wanted to put this into a story. Didn't know when it would happen, but I knew that. And then in 2015, I went to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And again, that place just hit me. And I knew this is going to be another setting. I would just, walk on the beaches, the forest and seeing all these things. And it was like, I want to incorporate this into a story. And so, yeah, so I do kind of, kind of journal and jot down notes too. But man, at this time, like I say, I just feel like it just came to me. I felt like I knew what I wanted. And so in December 2018, I just started writing. And so it just kind of came naturally.
Yeah, here we are.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. So just kind of like in those places, they stuck with you big time. You just kind of wanted to be able to kind of capture that vibe and then put it into story format.
Right. Exactly.
So dope, man. Well, cool, man. Well, let's get into the book. I would love for you to just kind of share. Obviously, we're not going to give the ending away or anything like that, but as much as you would like to part with, man, I would love for you to just share, obviously let's start with title and then kind of background synopsis. And for those, who haven't looked into the book yet, I have my book ordered. I ordered it like 5 days ago, still not here from Amazon, but I assume it's probably coming tomorrow. Everything is a little bit slow due to COVID. And so I'm excited to jump into it, man. But for those who don't know, the book is called Within by Donald Cooper. It is a mystery thriller, and it comes directly from this man right here, bro. So please, as much as you'd like to share about it, bro, and then we'll have some questions as well.
Awesome. Yeah. So kind of like say the first story I always wanted to write, because another big inspiration for me was the classic Alfred Hitchcock. He's the master of mystery, and thriller. And the idea of taking an ordinary man or woman and thrusting them into unknown, unforeseen circumstances has always been a dream of mine. That's his movie, like North by Northwest, is something like that. And there's a couple of other movies, modern day movies, that kind of follow that realm too. So yeah, what I do is I take this guy named Eric, and he's 30. In a lot of ways he's kind of like me, but I think he's from Kansas City. Anyway, yeah, right. Eric, he's just, he's at 30, and he feels like there's something more to life, like what it is he doesn't know, as a lot of us don't know. So one day he's getting ready to go to work. He's getting his coffee, and out of nowhere, he gets kidnapped. And out of nowhere, then from there, he goes to Portugal with these kidnappers. They take him away, and his wife, Kim, learns about it. And we find out that Kim may or may not be who he thought she was. So kind of a little bit of intrigue there. but yeah, like he learns a lot within himself
Yes.
through this story and what he is truly capable of. Because that was the other thing, is I wanted to incorporate my not only my vacations into the setting, but I say throughout my 30 years of life, especially this past decade of the 20s, I have learned how much personal development, like I said, it's just been a huge part of my life. I would love to inflict that into a story as well, of mystery thriller. And so that's kind of what, with Eric's character, I really want people to hopefully, when they read the book, hopefully maybe people can relate, and they find out maybe like there's more within me and what I'm capable of. And so that's just kind of like what it is, and kind of globetrots around. Yep.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yep.
Awesome message. And just kind of like how we kicked off things tonight, is, the individuals who have that burning desire, but just don't follow through, don't execute, because of these, unforeseen reasons or excuses. And so this story, it sounds like he just doesn't really doesn't get a choice.
He doesn't. Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's kind of that's what I just really wanted to make. Like sometimes you don't have a choice. Like you have to grow now, or just throw in the towel. But it's time to grow. So that's what that's what he does. So
yes, it reminds me of the quote. If you're not growing, you're dying, and that always hit me so hard. Several years ago when I had heard that quote, because we get to this point in our life where you're either, there's no such thing as stagnant. There's just not. You are either getting better every day, or you are degrading and you're getting worse every day. And, there's a book that I read many years ago as well called The Slight Edge. And it's all about, you know what book I'm talking about?
That's actually one of my favorites. Like I actually love giving that book to people, like as a gift, because that book is life-changing to me. Yeah.
It is, man. It just makes you really consider that, just the voice and the thoughts that go on in your head. Every single thought, every single decision is either helping you get better and leading you towards an epic destiny, towards your purpose, or it's degrading you, making you worse, and pulling you away from your calling. So if you guys have not checked out that book, also another good book. But when it comes to fiction, if you guys are looking to explore a completely different world, get thrust into the action, you guys need to check out Donald's book as well. And for those who are just now joining us, I keep obviously seeing people jump on here. We are interviewing Donald Cooper tonight about his book Within. We're hearing all about kind of the background, why he wrote it, where it all started, and where he's going with it as well. And so we got a couple comments here. First off, let's see. Got Megan Michelle asking, where do you get the book? Do you have a link?
Yes. It's on Amazon right now, paperback. This is the paperback, and this is the amazing art cover that my Ryan Weber did. Just fantastic. Amazon paperback and ebook, for a Kindle version. Yeah, if you do ebooks. So
epic, bro. Yeah, I should have had you throw that up earlier, man. Seriously, that artwork is just so clean.
Yes. Awesome. And then are you able to put the link?
Yes, just about to say that. I can't do it during the call, but guys, afterwards, I'm going to drop it in the comments so that you guys actually have a direct link to the book on Amazon. And if you guys are a Kindle or iPad type ebook reader, you guys can snag it there. But if you guys want the paperback version, you guys can snag that as well. So yes. And then at the end too, I'll grab whatever links and social and all that kind of stuff that you would like to promote so that people know how to get in touch with you. I know some people are probably going to, who have been interested in writing a book may have some questions for you as well. And so we'll get into that here at the end. So once again, guys, as you guys are having those questions, we'll jump on a few of them now. We'll jump on a few at the end. And then we'll just kind of go through comments as they come up. Jacob is also saying Slight Edge, awesome book.
Yes.
Love it. Yeah, Megan's talking about paperback is the way to go. Totally agree.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm either paperback or audiobook. I'm an audiobook fiend. But I'd much rather hold something in my hand rather than, well, I guess you're technically holding an iPad or e-reader in your hand, but it's just something about, paper, man. And being up like like I have a hard enough time reading as it is. I need something where I can drag my finger along it and the screen doesn't go with me,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, once again, as you guys are jumping on, all the newbies, let us know where you're tuning in from. We love to see where people are all across the states and the world. And so kind of going back to you, bro, back to the book. So, when it comes to how you got to where you are, you obviously made that decision. You started writing. And then as you're writing, I mean, when did it come about? I mean, obviously, did you always have, the plan to publish this, or was this kind of for you originally?
No, I've always wanted, like, literally in the back of my mind, and some of my best friends, like, say, you said he was on here earlier, and you know him very well, Bryce, Bryce and John, my parents, like,
Yeah.
I've always wanted to self-publish a book. I've always wanted to do that. So that's always been the dream. Because yeah, I mean, I've never really actually been the kind of guy that's written like just short stories on the side. Like I said, it's all up here a little bit. I do journal a little bit, like some ideas, but like I don't really full blown write short stories on the side.
All or nothing.
But yeah, like that's why this was just a dream and a goal. And I knew I had the like wherewithal to make it happen too. Because another big thing too, that I think the reason I was able to do this is another kind of just great part of life is networking. Like the way I met you. Networking. Like say, I would not have this cover, this engaging cover, if it wasn't for Ryan Weber, who I met with our network marketing company. The guy who helped me actually self-publish it. He helps people self-publish on Amazon. I met him through my cousin, years ago. He's a guy at Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Like, wow. Just networking. And then, helping me like kind of like market it things too, just like, we've had some calls on ways to help market it and marketing and things like that. So just, if it wasn't for, and my editor, I honestly think it was like I had to talk to 5 or 6 people before I found my editor.
Wow.
So it was because a lot of people don't do the editing for these kind of books. They don't do mystery thrillers, fiction. They'll do only like nonfiction or autobiographies or like other kinds of books. But like that was a process and a journey in of itself, is finding the editor. So, if anyone does have questions about editing, if they are looking to write a book, I would suggest the website called Reedsy, Reedsy. That's where I found Fiona. You literally kind of give a sample of your book and they read it and they say like, yep, this is exactly what I do. Very affordable, and it's a great service. But yeah, that definitely took a little bit of time to find them because like I didn't know where to go, but I knew I could find them because I love sharing things that we've learned over the years. Another thing I've learned is if you really want something, you're going to figure it out. And that's like, say, I mean, I could easily have been like, wow, I've written my book, but I don't have an editor. So oh, well, I'll put it back on the shelf. No, I went and figured it out. I'm just going to talk to people. And it took me 5 or 6 people to get to Fiona, but I finally did. And boom,
And thank God, bro. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you bring up a really good point, bro. I mean, it's easy to get halfway there, but no matter whatever you're trying to be successful at in life, business, anything creative, right? Such as book writing or producing or, building your own website. It doesn't matter. Working with people, there's going to always be just hurdles and things that you're going to run into along the way. And, the stick to it, like you said, the wherewithal to actually get it done is what separates people who hit the ceiling and those who break through the ceiling,
Right.
And so, I mean, obviously you kind of have the perfect storm, right? In a way, right? And there's no such thing as a perfect storm because it's all about how we weather the storm. But the simple fact is, as you move through life, rather than just having these opportunities pass you by, you've obviously always had your eyes open. You've been willing to connect with people. You've been willing to learn. You've been willing to grow. And, that is the underlying, classification or sign of somebody who's successful is just someone who is willing to grow and actually learn in the process. Most people don't start, don't become an author overnight. Obviously, it's a process of learning, right? Even just writing and getting with your editor and all this. I assume, being this your first book, there's probably a lot of back and forth and a lot of learning lessons in the process.
Yes.
But being able to stick to it and get to the end, right? I mean, how do you feel now that your book's out?
Dude, it's incredible, and the most like heartwarming, like just the ultimate dream come true is not just seeing it here right now, is hearing the initial feedback. There's been a couple of people that have finished it, and they have just, because my goal with this.
Uh-oh. Might have dropped him for a second there. We'll wait for him to jump back on. Here he comes.
Okay.
Yep. I can hear you, but I can't see you. Let's see here.
I can hear you.
You can't see me either?
I can see you too.
Let's see if that'll work. No. We'll give it a sec. Might just be internet kind of popping up here again. If you have to sign off and sign back on, that's totally fine, bro. I can add you back in. In the meantime, I can just chat with the audience, get some questions answered and whatnot.
Would I just hit like the leave button and then just come right back in?
Yep. You can leave and then click the link again.
Okay.
Rock and roll. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging tight with us here. So as we got Donald on here tonight, I don't know if you guys have ever considered, I'm sure several of you have considered writing a book, becoming an author, and actually putting your content out there, right? And, I've written ebooks in the past, got those out there, but I've never gone all the way to like full book. And so this stuff is extremely intriguing to me, just kind of learning the process of what it takes in order to, get your fully published, piece of art out there. There he is. All right.
There we go.
So if you have questions, go ahead and drop them. We'll try to get to them at the end here. And then as new people are joining in, say what's up. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And anyway, bro, I'll let you pick up where you left off.
Yeah, I was going to say, because another big goal and intention of mine when I was doing this book was, and I'm not hating on, other, books or like your Stephen King's, whatever, but I've just never been the person that when I see a book that's like 500 plus pages, I'll be honest, like say, I love, stories and stuff. That's just a little daunting. It's like a 4-hour movie. Like it's a lot. And so my goal and intention was to kind of have like, get you thrusted right into the action, like in the first 5 to 10 pages. And then not be too long. Say it's 135, 140 page book, nothing super long, but like say the couple people that have initially finished it have said like they finished it in like a weekend or a quick week. And they did not want to put it down. And so for me hearing that, like say that's more of when you ask me, how does it feel?
Yeah.
That is like hearing that, just because like, see, that's the ultimate goal from like a storyteller, a writer is, you want to please the people, you don't want to displease the people, and you want to keep them hooked and engaged, and
yeah, you want them to make it to the end.
Yes. And see, and the other thing that I love about, back kind of being like, say to the very beginning of like what kind of made me want to be a storyteller or a writer, we live in a crazy world, especially 2020. The joy of fiction and getting you kind of taking you to a whole nother reality for that short period of time. Absolutely. I just think that's really cool. That's like a big, reason that fuels my passion for storytelling. And I just feel I love immersing people in a whole new world, and hopefully people get to really want to visit Brazil and Portugal if they haven't after this. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
You say when, I'm there.
Yeah.
Love it, dude. Well, cool. Well, let's go back to going through your book. We've got Jacob here. He's saying he'd love to learn more about the process from idea to production. And so if you want to stay on that a little bit longer, man, just obviously you got the idea. I mean, how did you, I know you said you met him through your cousin, this guy who helps with publishing and whatnot. What kind of insight can you give to those who are looking to publish or self-publish a book?
Right. Yeah. I mean, to be blunt and honest, like I've gotten that question a couple times, even like when I'm out to lunches and dinners and talking to people. I don't really have the answers for that. What I do know are like I say, I just, I gave him my work.
Yeah.
And he did what he did. Like,
Wow.
I essentially hired him. I did pay him a fee,
Yep.
very reasonable. But yeah, so like say really, if I see someone ask me that question and they are looking to write a book, I would almost suggest like, yeah, just focus on like what you can control, which is the words and the story and the idea, focus on that, because that's why I was talking about networking earlier. Like, I mean, I worry about my cover last almost, I never thought about that. So, it was, like say another genius thing with that was I just told Ryan that it takes place in New York and Brazil and Portugal. What can you do? And then he comes up with that first time. I'm like, what? Like, that's awesome. So, and
That's when you know you're working with a master.
Yes. So, but see that, and that's why you have those people, like and so like, so when it comes to the production side, I honestly, I would just say like, don't focus on that. I'd say focus on what you can control. And that's, getting your story constructed and put it on paper. And then you're going to find your editor. That's why they do what they do. Then you're going to find the person who actually makes it come to life, like the producer. And that's kind of, his name was Patrick from South Dakota. Like that's what he was my producer, I guess you could say, and like, we all have our roles, and your role is really just to write.
That's good, bro. That's really good information, because I see it all over the place. I see it in all facets of life. For me, it's primarily I'm working with people in the business world or people wanting to start a business. And there is so much power in outsourcing things so that you don't have to try to be a jack of all trades. You know what I mean?
Right.
The saying is a jack of all trades, but a master of none. And if you're trying to do everything, you could have been so overwhelmed with how am I going to get this published, or you could have used your own editing skills, which you may or may not trust. I wouldn't trust my own editing skills. I know that. So with that, you could have ended up putting out like a subpar book just because you tried to do everything. Right. And so I think what you're saying is a major key, bro. Is don't be afraid to start outsourcing the things that you do not want to be an expert on, right? Don't be afraid, to outsource things that people have literally spent years of their life mastering. And, to get to that point where you can pay them, like you said, a reasonable fee to take that off your plate, give you more time. And now you're just getting to enjoy the fruits of your labor rather than trying to manage all the back end and trying to get people's, questions answered and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
So tune into that, guys. That's so key. Don't try to do everything yourself. Tap into the expert. It's not what you know, it's who you know. So network, man. And that's what I love doing here, man, is you and I, obviously we've networked over the last several years. You guys on this video, on this live, you guys are being able to tap in right here and network with two people at the same time, getting a lot of your questions answered live, but having the ability to actually contact them after the fact to get your questions answered, and really tap into both of our networks too. And that's what I do love social media. People like to demonize social media and, say it, paint it out as this terrible, bad thing. Well, it's all in how you use it. You know what I mean? Too much of a good thing is not a good thing, and anything can be lethal. Right. Cheeseburgers, you can drink too much water and drown yourself, So it's all in how you use it. Use it constructively, and, obviously stay inside of your boundaries. So we got another question here. Question for Donald. Throughout this process, what would you say has been your favorite moment of the journey? Ooh, this is good. Of becoming an author, from initial pen to paper in 2018 to now in 2020. Great question, John.
Favorite moment. That's a good question.
Take it down.
Oh God, I mean, it's obviously so easy to say as, seeing it, on Amazon,
Totally.
I this may also sound cliche. I think when I finished that first draft of June 13th, 2019, I'll never forget that date. Yeah. Like even this June 13th that just passed, like I was like, I woke up that day and I thought this was the day I finished it, cause for those 6 months or 6.5 months, like I really just, hammered it out. I was on a pretty strict schedule. I'd do at least, 2 or 3 hours like every day. Yeah. So just, at least if not every day, it was like probably 5 days a week, like I was pretty, um, consistent with that, which also that is another thing I would say for anyone looking to write a book is in anything in life. So what I love about this call, we're talking a lot of wonderful things. Consistency is so key.
Boom.
So yeah, consistency. But yeah, I'll never forget the joy of what June 13th, 2019 brought me. I think that was like finishing that first initial manuscript, because that also is something I've always dreamt of, just finishing the 100 and at that time I think it was like 150 pages. So yeah. Yeah.
It's just, it's the final, the first look of the process to the final product. Yeah. And so it's that way in a lot of things in life, just that initial kind of accomplishment stage of, okay, boom, step one, major, huge, right? I guess step one is really deciding, right? Because people don't realize how much of a step that is. You can teeter on the edge and you can decide, like, I'm doing this, no ifs, ands, or buts. I don't care if, my house burns down, I'm finishing this book. And so, and then step two, going through the whole process of actually getting this thing written down and, on paper, sent to the editor, et cetera. And then step three, obviously leads you into the final production stages. And so, yeah, bro, I feel like that applies to a lot of spaces in life. So I hope you guys are listening and getting inspired too with what Donald's saying in regards to the process and realizing that, I'm sure along the way, there's been other accomplishments that have felt really good, but completion is a great feat.
I was like, this is done, like this is, because that's also can be a tough thing, I think, for any, writer or creator of anything is when is it done, and also how to end it, you want to make sure, the ending's good and people feel happy. And so, yeah, that's also what with the initial kind of feedback I've heard is they really like the ending. And so that's huge for me too. So.
Dude, love that.
Yeah.
Let me see here. I was going to ask you. Oh yes, along the the path, along the journey here, were there any moments that you thought about quitting?
Honestly, no. Wow. To be blunt, dude, yeah, no, man. So awesome. I was so headstrong, man. And like I say, once I made that decision, because you talk about that too. That word is such a huge word. I decided, I didn't kind of tiptoe, just put my toes in the water. I went in, I knew what I was going to do. And so that's what I was like, again, kind of to something else we were talking about earlier about, I was like, I knew my part. I'm going to work on this. I didn't try to overthink about editing or my cover art. I didn't think about all that stuff was done. I didn't try to get too into my head. I was like, I'm going to write this story. I'm doing it. And I was so committed. And so, yeah, I never really felt like quitting. No. So.
Dude, that's a major key right there too, right? Like, we're talking about decision, but there's also like what you describe as like the thought of not finishing was not even there. You know what I mean? It was non-existent. No matter what, this thing was getting done. It was just a matter of when.
Exactly. So
what was it that, did you actually give to get to the point where you are now, did you have a deadline of when you wanted it by? How did you, obviously consistency is one thing, but did you have a goal date set or anything like that? Give us more into your mindset.
Not really. So yeah, after, June 13th, when I finished the manuscript, like say that the finding the editor was tough. I mean, I knew I wanted to do it in 2020. Honestly, coming up my 30th birthday was just kind of,
just
great time, because I got it back from my editor in like early May. So I went through it and kind of went, we discussed some things over the summer. But also, so with my current job, I've been very busy too. And so that was kind of tough to kind of all align that. So I really didn't have like an exact date, but as my birthday was approaching, I was like, what a way to remember my 30th. And like you said earlier, like what a way to enter a new decade. And so, yeah, I'd say around August, I really wanted to be my birthday. I was like, it's going to happen. So
heck yes. Oh, I love it, man. Well, cool, guys. As we're continuing to kind of chat through some things and starting to head toward the last quarter here. If you guys have questions for Donald, whether you're an author, entrepreneur, or just anyone that wants, just some success mindset or set or advice, right? Completion is absolutely massive, just like we've been talking about. People who follow things through until they're completed, and it's a rare breed. I don't think it has to be. I think it's just a simple fact of you deciding to be that person, right?
Oh, yeah.
Was there a particular time where you just decided, like I'm an author?
I mean, I guess you could honestly say back when I was in 8th grade, in a way. I've always, it's like even when like in high school or college, I loved like my English classes. I loved things where I had to, be very creative. And so I feel like I knew I was always going to be an author. I just I just didn't know when. But yeah, I'm very, very excited to finally say, I can put that on my resume, so to speak, or whatever, a life accomplishment check. And say when you do something like this too, it expands your mind about what more you can do. And so I'm just trying, like, another big goal of mine, I've always wanted to write a screenplay. And so that could very well be something that is done here in my 30s. We'll see. And continue writing, especially after some initial feedback. So whether or not it'll be a sequel to this, like, whoa.
I'm gonna say, dude, that really was leading right into the next question. Jacob was asking, what's the plan for the future? Will there be a sequel?
That's hilarious, Jacob. Perfect timing there. There very well could be. Once you finish it, you'll see that it might leave it open for a sequel. It very well may. So, I'd say I literally was having dinner with a friend last night talking about, the story and these characters. I would love to give Eric and Kim another story. What that is, I'm not 100% sure yet. But I've also, another thing I've kind of just started thinking the past couple of weeks, another big realm. Another big genre that I love is the heist, crime, robbery. So I'd love to kind of write a gritty crime novel one day. So that'd be kind of cool. But I might entertain a sequel as well. But just kind of letting the imagination flow and just kind of focusing on the joy and marketing of this book and waiting to hear and get this story out there.
Amen, bro. Heck yeah. And we'll have another conversation about that too, bro. It's just ways to just get this thing out to the masses. There are so millions, if not billions, of people who love mystery thrillers and need to obviously see one of the newest pieces of art out on the market. And so we'll have another conversation about this as far as just exploding it into the marketplace. And I'm just excited for more and more people to get their hands on it, get inspired, and then really honestly, hopefully light a fire under you to get another book out or a screenplay out there one of these days.
Yeah, exactly. So
boom. Well, here we go. We got John with another question here. It says, food for thought. The idea of actually writing a book is like unbelievable, right? Like, how do you start? How do you finish? When do you know how to end it? So many different factors, which makes this task and goal such a unique one. I can't wait to read it. Kudos, Johnny. Or Johnny, roommate. So, oh, good stuff, man. Very exciting stuff. Well, guys, we're going to leave it open here for a few more questions if you guys have them. And then obviously, we're going to obviously give you space to, kind of plug things a little bit. Give some insight into, once again, where they can grab your book. If you guys are just tuning in now, where you can snag it, we'll drop some links here and there. If you got any websites, social media, all that kind of stuff, we want to make sure we hit that up as well, so people can obviously get a hold of you, get their hands on your piece of art, and then also, obviously, if you're open to it, maybe ask you some questions too. So
yeah.
All right, good deal. Well, good deal. Let's see here. Really, I would also like to kind of give you a space too, man. If there's anything that you want the audience to know, whether it's about writing a book, success, what you're doing next, etc. I know you are a wealth of knowledge and wisdom, and so I just want to kind of obviously give you some space to share that as well.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Yeah, kind of like alluding to what John just said. You know, just kind of going from like an idea. Like I say, that's kind of back to what we started with, like people like Walt Disney or Dr. Seuss or just any kind of creator innovator like that. It is a lot, and that's it, and that's why I really wanted to write this book, and the message behind it again is just like I just learned, I feel like, yeah, at a younger age, like I probably say between 19, 20, 21, that we are capable of so much.
Yeah.
And like just self-limiting beliefs are the killer of most of our dreams. And so when I started learning that, like, and I just feel like month after month, year after year, as I get older, and I just really feel like that quote too is like, yeah, self-limiting beliefs are the assassination of all your dreams. Is like, just believe in yourself and go. What do you have to lose? Go for it, and like kind of like you said, like I really don't think it's that hard. I think we make it harder than it is.
Yeah.
You just can't care what people think, and just keep moving. Just stay. Like I say, that then comes to like consistency tied into a decision, in any like aspect of life, whether that's like business, relationship, anything like that, like friendships. There's consistency and making a decision and just kind of following through with the actions that are needed to make that come to life.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, it's just I just very blessed that I started reading books like The Slight Edge at a young age, and other books like that, and I feel like it kind of transferred me into a whole new mindset on how I want to live my life. And I honestly don't even know what like my old life was,
Yeah.
And I've been here for like roughly 10 years now with this kind of mindset, and I say it just really helps you when you kind of develop that mindset. Yeah, you can just really, that you really truly believe you can do anything. Like say, I feel so much more confident now that I can write a screenplay. I know that's gonna be a lot different than writing a book, but it's still kind of the same idea, like creating characters, creating a story, and things like that. But it's definitely going to take different actions. But I know, like I said earlier too, it's like when you really want something, you're going to go find out how to do it, and you're not going to let the self-limiting beliefs of just I'm just going to sit here and watch TV, or I'm going to sit here and just whatever. Like, don't get me wrong, sometimes you need those chill days to yourself. You can't just be go go go. But you still just got to stay committed. Create. Got to be organized. Got to be disciplined and consistent. Just stick with those kind of pillars, and you're going to be unstoppable in whatever you do. And so I feel like that's really how I was able to make this come to life, and how I think I'll be able to make a screenplay come to life one day. And yeah.
Drop it like it's hot, bro. Heck yeah. All right, dude. Jesse has a question for you. What is your favorite way to spark creativity when you feel blocked? Which, great question.
That's a really good question. Yeah.
Yes.
Honestly, yeah. See, I love watching. I try to look up, see if I can find a new show, because I love getting immersed into a new show. I'm like, I want to observe their writing and their character development. Yeah. So kind of interesting. The most recent show I started to watch was the television show of Fargo, which is also a 1996 movie. And the first couple seasons, I mean, the whole series has been great, but the first couple seasons was just like, I just got immersed into this whole new world. And one thing I love about that show is like, it literally is its own world. And I find that super fascinating. So whenever I do feel blocked, I like to go and, go to where my favorite genre of like mystery, thriller, suspense. And I try to find a good show there, and just kind of see how they develop characters and their storylines, their plot lines, and just kind of observe and get lost in their world and their imagination. So, but that's a really awesome question.
Dude, just kind of jack into their frequency a little bit.
Yes.
Understand their perception, understand how they see the world and how they are creating their own world. And that's what I love about it
too. Like, I will also read a mystery book too. I did that a lot last year too. I was like, while my book was in editing, I read a couple books while I was there, just in case, when I got it back from the editor, like, how am I going to expand on that? Like, or can I expand more? Just be prepared to add things, maybe take things out, whatever it might be. But I like to get lost in a new story, whether it's a book or a show or a movie.
Dude, I love that. I'm the same way, man. Always been a book nerd. You know, I've had different shows over the years that I've just fully immersed myself in. And I think a lot of people are like that, you know. So many people love to Netflix and chill, right? And just see
Yeah.
what type of series they can get in. But there, you know, there's also a space where there's the creative adaptation, absorb, assimilate, vibe, etc., right? Where you're just in that creative space of learning. And then there's also the next stage of applying. And you know, what I would encourage people to do is don't get stuck in the creative phase. Go out and apply. If there's something that you want to do, if there's a book you want to write, if there is a business you want to start, go out there and do it. You know, so many people, rather than getting immersed in a television show or a good book for a period, they just jump from one to the other because that world is more interesting, entertaining than their current one. But the thing is, just like what you've proven, bro, is your own life can be exciting and you know, can be a completely different world that you create because of the decision that you made.
Yes. Yeah. I couldn't have said it better, man. Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, last question here, and then we'll give you a space where you can share your social sites and all that good stuff, man. You know, are there any, you know, you're talking about mindset in this kind of period of your life that shifted everything for you, helped you get to where you are now. Are there any books in particular that, or yeah, just really any resource that people would tap into in order to get that mindset of just making a decision and getting it done?
Yeah. So obviously Slide Edge is a great one.
Yes, sir.
Because yeah, I'm trying to think about like more like mindset ones. This is actually another first or second book I ever read. Start with Why by Simon Sinek. Has a great TED Talk too about it. That's a classic. Just because like see, my why here was like I kind of said, it's I love with how chaotic life can be. I love to immerse someone in a whole new world and kind of get lost in the characters. Maybe people feel or see something of themselves in those characters, setting. So that was my why. And yeah, reading books like Start with Why, Slide Edge. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones that really have catapulted like the right mindset. Yeah, those are definitely the top two. Another great classic one that's just short and sweet and simple is like I think it's like Who Moved My Cheese? I think, is that right?
Yeah.
Kind of talking about these roadblocks, but you always find a way, And so yeah, but yeah, I would definitely say that the two formulas, Start with Why and Slide Edge. Like the thing with the Slide Edge too is it's about those daily disciplines, because doing something like this or like any business and things that you've done, it's all about discipline, staying disciplined. And that's a key book on that.
Yeah. And what discipline is it's being willing to give up the things you want for the things you want now for the things that you want in the future.
Right.
And it's just simply delayed gratification. Everything's an energy exchange. You can either exchange energy with your television and stay in that space, or you can go exchange that energy with a pad and a pen, or hammering out some work on a computer, whatever that thing is that you have a desire to create. But go out there, create it. Don't get stuck in the in the stagnation space, because like we said early on, you're either growing or you're dying.
Yes.
So, yeah. Awesome, bro. Well, John, he's got a little closeout for us here. It's two things. Shout out to DFT for hosting a great call. Absolutely, bro. We absolutely love doing this. And Donald, thank you for coming on. Seriously, bro. He does have a couple more questions for you. What is your dream screenplay genre? Mystery thriller, or something different?
It was probably mystery thriller. Yeah. Or maybe like a crime, a true crime. Yeah. Actually, another thing that because I've really started liking these a lot lately, these past couple of years, is these true crime, movies or TV shows about like things that happen in real life. I would love to find really wild, unique story. It doesn't even have to happen in the United States. It could be wherever. And write about that. So kind of a nonfiction. So
where you kind of creatively fill in the details of what actually happened.
Yeah. Yeah. So because that's something because there's so many things that come up that I honestly did not even know, but thanks to this movie and thanks to these people, these writers that found this unique and wild story like that happened, and they bring it to life, and so that's really cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love it, bro. Well, let's do it. Let's start closing this bad boy out. Where can people buy your book? How can they find you online and connect with you further?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, to buy the book is right at the moment just on Amazon. I am looking to get it on like the iLibrary, as well as even like the Barnes and Noble Nook as well. I've went to Barnes and Noble the other day and seen how to get that. So those will be to come. But right now, just on Amazon, if you type in Within Donald Cooper, it'll be the first thing that pops up. And you say you can get the Kindle version or the paperback. You can connect with me on Facebook, Instagram. Those are the two vessels I use the most. Donald Cooper on Facebook. And then, my Instagram is Donald LJ Cooper. I do also have a Facebook page where I've launched. I'm looking to add more to it. It's still pretty new. But it's Donald Cooper's debut book. You'll find the link in there, as well as some other marketing things that talking about my book. But yeah, those are definitely the main vessels at the moment. And like I say, once like on Donald Cooper's debut book page, once I get it up on the iLibrary, once I get it onto the Barnes and Noble Nook, like those kinds of things, those other vessels, I will definitely be leaving links there. So for future, more access. But right now, just Amazon. So
fabulous. Well, I don't think there's a single person who's been on this call tonight who does not have an Amazon account. So you're good there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually drop just kind of some notes from our call, and then all of your social links, a link to buy the book, all that kind of stuff in the comments here. So for those who are interested in snagging the book, you guys will be able to have access to it here shortly. And then, if you guys are watching this at a later time, you're watching the replay, feel free to drop comments on here. We'll both see them. And I'm sure Donald would love to answer whatever questions you have about writing a book or about his new book Within. And so as long as I have permission to say that, bro, awesome. We'll give people that opportunity then. So good stuff, man. I think that's it, man. We'll close it out so we don't keep anybody here too late. But once again, thank you so much for jumping on here, bro, and just having this conversation. We've gotten to talk a little bit about the book in the past, and obviously I've always been super excited to see you just crush this, right? Just follow through, get this thing published, get it into people's hands. So once again, congratulations for that. And it's just been a fun conversation to go deeper with you, bro.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, no, I don't forget at the swim bar in Mexico a little over a year ago. So we're talking about going to be making it happen. So it is exciting to be here and exciting to do this with you, man. I really appreciate you having me on. And it's a blast as always to talk with you.
Rock and roll, bro. Well, thanks again, everyone, for tuning in with us tonight. Once again, links will be dropped in the comments here below. And if you guys have questions, ask away. But otherwise, once again, Donald, thanks for jumping on with us, bro. And we'll see y'all next week.
Yeah.
All right.